Juba, December 5, 2025. The 28th session of the politically charged Special Court on the incident of Nasir reconvened today in the capital, marking another critical phase in one of South Sudan's most closely watched and contentious legal proceedings. The high-profile trial, centered on the deadly Nasir attack, continues to draw intense national and international scrutiny, with supporters of both the government and the accused closely monitoring every development. Diplomats, civil society observers, and members of the public once again filled the courtroom precinct as the judges resumed hearing testimony and reviewing documentary evidence. During today's session, the prosecution and defense engaged in renewed exchanges over the credibility of earlier testimonies, including claims of coordinated involvement of SPLAO commanders and the White Army militia. Court officials also reviewed new administrative documents and video materials previously submitted by witnesses in earlier sittings. Tensions inside and outside the courtroom remain high, as the trial carries significant political implications. The proceedings come at a sensitive moment for the country, amid ongoing efforts by regional bodies and international partners to push for stability and full implementation of the 2018 revitalized peace agreement. Legal analysts say the coming sessions could prove decisive as the court moves closer to evaluating the core allegations against suspended First Vice President Dr. Machar and the 7 co-accused. Meanwhile, human rights advocates continue to call for transparency, due process, and protection of all parties involved. The court is expected to adjourn later today and resume its next session in the coming days as the case progresses toward a potential landmark ruling. The Mercenary courts still continue to expose their weakness to the whole world, the case that almost take 2 to 3 months by now. The high-profile trial of South Sudan's suspended First Vice President, Dr. Machar, has been adjourned until Wednesday, December 10th, after a member of the 3-judge panel fell ill. The special court in Juba halted proceedings at Freedom Hall on Friday after Judge Stephen Simon became unwell, rendering the panel incomplete. Presiding Judge James Alala Deng announced the adjournment, stating, "One of the members of the panel is sick. He is receiving treatment. Therefore, we are going to adjourn the session to Wednesday, December 10th. The court had been scheduled to continue the cross-examination of Major Peter Manuel Deng, the prosecution's first witness and a military investigator. This was to be the 28th session of the trial. Dr. Machar, 72, along with 7 co-accused, faces serious charges including murder, treason, and crimes against humanity. The charges relate to a deadly attack on a military base in Nasir County in March 2025. Prosecutors allege a militia linked to Dr. Machar was responsible for the attack, which resulted in the deaths of Maj Gen David Major Dak, approximately 250 soldiers, and a member of a United Nations mission in South Sudan, UNMISS, helicopter crew. The other individuals facing allegations of treason, crimes against humanity, mass murder, terrorism, and destruction of property are Pute Kong Cole, 40, Mampal Duer, 37, Gatwech Lam Puch, 66, Lieutenant General Gabriel Dup Lam, 53, Camilo Gat Michael, 47, Mating Yak Reek, 45, and Dominic Gatgok Reek, 27. All defendants have previously denied the allegations. The trial is being closely watched domestically and internationally, given Dr. Machar's central role in South Sudan's politics and the fragile 2018 peace agreement. This report is published by Radio Tamazuj as part of an investigative series profiling former Vice President Dr. Benjamin Bol Mel. It examines his political career, influence, and role in South Sudan's recent history. Early political engagement. While in secondary school in Uganda, Benjamin Bol Mel would repeatedly tell peers and friends who cared to listen that he was going to be powerful in the future. His first attempt at actualizing this was in Nairobi, while he was at university in the early 2000s, when he vied for the leadership of the SPLM Youth League against Akol Paul Kordat, the recently appointed SPLM Secretary General, who was the incumbent at the time. Bol had the quiet support of a few senior SPLM leaders, including Commander Salva Kiir. However, Akol, with the backing of SPLM Chairman Dr. John Garang de Mabior, ultimately won the position. In 2006, Bol served on the LRA Peace Secretariat led by Dr. Riek Machar, then vice president in the government of Southern Sudan and now head of the opposition. SPLAO. Despite this early political association with Dr. Machar, Bol later developed a strong relationship with President Salva Kiir and has remained on Kiir's side throughout the civil war, which ended in 2018. In early 2010, Salva Kiir, who was then president of the semi-autonomous government of Southern Sudan, appointed Dr. Samson Kwaj, then Minister of Agriculture and Forestry, as SPLM presidential campaign manager for regional elections that were held in Southern Sudan between the 11th and the 15th of April, 2010 as part of the Sudanese general election. Bol was part of the presidential campaign team and had his first taste of national politics. Later in 2010, a few months before the referendum on self-determination for South Sudan slated for early January 2011, which was ironclad in the Comprehensive Peace Agreement of 2005 and brought the Sudanese war to an end, Bol created and was the head of a powerful body dubbed the South Sudan Youth Forum for Referendum, which advocated for separation. The organization was housed in Juba's Nimratalata neighborhood, adjacent to the basketball court. Under Bol's stewardship, the forum chartered special planes to tour states and counties, campaigning and raising awareness about the referendum. The youth organization had substantial funding shrouded in mystery. Delegates recruited from Juba for the campaign, such as parliamentarians, SPLM party officials, other influential people, and South Sudanese youth flown in from Kenya, were paid approximately 10,000 Sudanese pounds, just slightly over $4,000 per trip up country, a very handsome sum at the time.